And now it's time to delve into the organizational side of AI integration in the newsroom. Our next speaker leads efforts to embed AI in editorial workflows as well, with a focus on restructuring processes and building a culture that actively embraces new technologies. He brings deep experience from one of Germany's leading newspapers, where he plays a key role in shaping the future of journalism. Please welcome Managing Editor and Senior Editor of AI at Süddeutsche Zeitung, Fabian Heckenberger.
Wow. Is it on? Is it on? Yes. Again, wow. I'm kind of nervous, and it's a real honor to be standing here. I think Nikita and Gard set the bar already pretty high. And just a year ago, I was one of the people watching the summit on YouTube, listening to all the brilliant panels and discussions going on, and now I'm standing here. So thank you, Agnes, Kasper, Ole, and Sarah for inviting me and for the opportunity to speak here and maybe shed some light on the already mentioned topic of integrating Gen AI as a transformative force within a media organization, within the newsroom. I think Nikita made clear how transformative this force can be and will be. And I will elaborate a little bit on how we try to keep up with this at Süddeutsche Zeitung, and it's hard to spell, Süddeutsche Zeitung. And we'll try to connect some of the big topics we already touched upon yesterday and today with the daily work and workflows of our journalists, because I think that's where the change and the transformation is and will be really happening. So let's be clear, the transformation in media has been underway for years. Gen AI didn't start it, but of course it accelerates and maybe changes everything. Fundamentally, we have to ask fundamental questions, as Nikita already mentioned. And in many discussions, we talked about transformation using linear models like this. I'm sure you know the story. From left to right, one phase leads to the next, one step after another. There's a roadmap, a starting point, and after a while, voila, you have transformed and you have reached the goal. But of course, that's way too simplistic. When we had a calm moment around 2 years ago at Süddeutsche Zeitung, and these calm moments are very rare, and Gen AI was already on its way, we took a minute to reflect on the last 5 years and the digital transformation that was going on and what we maybe could learn from this digital transformation for the upcoming Gen AI transformation. And when we looked at these linear models, we thought that's not how our transformation worked. So we thought about it and we tried to flip the script and we turned it around for 90 degrees. And that was a model that was way nearer and way more realistic to our transformation, to our transformative approach. Not a line from left to right, but a stack, a layered model, a foundation model. Each level builds upon the one before, but they also influence each other. And this idea helped us to shape what we call now our change foundation. And it has brought us to over 300 digital subscribers. We are very lucky to have them. And maybe will prepare us for everything that's still to come happening during the Gen AI transformation. We'll see, hopefully. So let's take a quick minute to revisit those layers and ask the questions what we can learn from them for the ongoing Gen AI transformation. First, there was, of course, we had to define our North Stars. We had to define the North Stars. We came from serving two gods, advertising and readers and subscribers, to a clear subscriber-first vision, a clear subscriber-first model. We had to come from an identity crisis to a clear journalistic vision. On the right-hand side, you can see the view from Süddeutsche Zeitung Tower on the outskirts of Munich. It looks pretty clear. It's foggy from time to time as well. And we went from gut feeling to user metrics. You all know this. Then, looking backwards, we discovered and talked a lot about the transformative force of tools. And we've already heard about tools yesterday a lot. We're talking about them today, and we use them for the Gen AI transformation, of course. And we coined the phrase of tool-driven change. When you implement the right tool, and God was touching this topic as well, when you implement the right tool at the right moment for the right people, for the right use case, then this can be a real acceleration of transformation. If you don't do this at the right moment, or you don't do this with the right tool for the right people, it causes frustration and it slows transformation down. The third layer, and you can see here a picture of our new conference room. Before that, we had a big Putin-sized table, and every executive editor and section lead had its own chair. This is the new one, and of course, it's a small bit and a small picture that shows the changing culture. But we do not think about culture as a theoretical construct. We think about culture as really focusing on what people really need. Going from another project that nobody really knows about or nobody really cares about, to building step by step, best case on best case, building a change muscle, turn this news organization into a transformative change organization. And last but not least, and that's something every media company, of course, was focusing on over the last 2 years, asking the questions, not what is our audience, but who are our audiences, what do they really need from us, focusing on user needs, stepping away from just creating content or even creating more content to creating value for our readers, for our subscribers, for our audiences, and to put it in general, from being important to being essential. So this is roughly put, the foundation model we developed. It has the layer strategy, it has the layer culture, it has the layer tooling, and there's the layer audience. So can we just simply add AI as another layer? I think Nikita and God already made it clear. Of course not, that would be way too simplistic. But Gen AI, it doesn't just sit on top. It cuts through every of these layers. It reshapes strategy, tools, culture, audience relations, everything. So maybe it looks more like this, and maybe this means everything all over again. I think yes. We have to ask, like as Nikita already mentioned, these fundamental questions again. But when we tell that to our newsroom, to our editors, to our journalists, to our reporters out there, they look at us like, really? We have to cover the man in the White House with his charts and his tariffs. In Germany, we had an election and we have a new government taking over. And most importantly, for a Munich-based newspaper, Thomas Müller does not get a new contract at FC Bayern München. How the hell could that happen? And we get these questions a lot. We have these crazy news cycles, and how should we transform? The digital transformation isn't already finished, and there's the new, like Casper put it yesterday, there's another wave coming up. This is way too exhausting. This is overtaxing people. And I think this is one of the key organizational and cultural questions to answer. How do we not overtax our newsroom? How can we steer through these different waves of transformation? And maybe it helps. This quick recap helps, and to think back, to look back. And we as media organizations, I think we are pretty good at transforming. We have done this for the last 10 to 15 years. And Gen AI, of course, creates a whole new world. But I tend to be optimistic, and maybe we do have some experience we can use for this as well. So let's take a quick look at the structure. I've been in knee-deep in transformation for over 10 years. And it can be really exhausting, on the one hand. And it's a job I still love. I really love talking to the 21-year-old data journalist and to the 63-year-old opera critic and explain to them over coffee why it's necessary to change again, and bring them together and think about how journalism can survive these upcoming changes. But of course, I'm not alone. Luckily, 1.5 years ago, we created an AI board at Süddeutsche Zeitung together with Carmen Heger, our director, data and AI, and with Alessandro Agliani, he is here as well. Most of you know him. We are very happy that he joined Süddeutsche Zeitung a year ago. And the third colleague is Elisabeth Gampel, who works at the visual desk and focuses on topics like storytelling. And we, as an AI board, try to coordinate all Gen AI projects, all Gen AI initiatives within Süddeutsche Zeitung. But of course, we do need help. We created a so-called AI forum. It has several experts from different teams from the whole organization, from IT, from legal, HR, from our visual desk. Then, of course, we do have our product teams with the software developers and the data scientists. And we have a growing network of Gen AI savvy journalists within our newsroom and within our different sections. So, having the structure, we try maybe to do it all over again. We go ask the question, what is our North Star? And Gard asked this question already, and I think he gave a pretty good answer. We at Süddeutsche 1.5 years ago said there's not one North Star for maybe the year 24 and the year 25. There have to be two North Stars, and the one, of course, is serve our subscribers in the best way possible. Use Gen AI to increase engagement, and on the other hand, and we've heard about this already, improve workflows, support journalistic work, provide useful tools, and maybe gain some efficiency. We regularly publish our Gen AI, not guidelines, but our framework. It's the rules and it's an explanation for our readers and subscribers and for our editorial staff as well on how we use at Süddeutsche Zeitung Gen AI. And we did this every year for the last 3 years. And one thing very important for the transformation, it helps our editorial staff to gain trust. And maybe all of you read the piece from Martin Schori. He published it a few days ago on the INMA page, asking the question, is transparency still needed for Gen AI created content? And I think it is still needed, at least for the next 6 to 12 months. We need it because trust, from my opinion, from our point of view, is a baseline for the Gen AI transformation. Not only regarding our subscribers and readers, but almost as important for our editorial staff, for our newsroom. And we focus on this topic a lot, and that's why we changed the so often quoted phrase human in the loop, implementing human in the loop, and Gard was talking about this as well already, to expert in the loop. We try to involve our editorial experts, our product experts, our design experts, our data experts from the beginning of every process. We do not use the editorial staff and the journalists to only do a check in the end before something gets published. I think that's too simplistic. We try to follow this approach to involve them from the beginning on into each and every step of the process, and that gives them the opportunity to give feedback and to give way more quality feedback than only checking the product, the feature, or the content in the end of the developing process. Let me give you one simple example. All of you know that. It's article summaries. Almost everyone has tried them. Almost everyone has published them. We at Süddeutsche were kind of late to the party, but now we have them for months, and we started with our economics desks. And together with the journalists and authors, we defined what an asset style summary looks like or should look like, the tone, the structure, the length, the context, the format. We ran hours of prompt engineering side by side with the authors. We put 20 or more texts from each and every author into the prompt, into the machine. We looked at the results, then we refined the prompt using their real articles, and this was really time well spent, because as a result, the editors now understand better what is going on with Gen AI, and they trust the tool and they trust the product. The subscribers benefit now from better summaries, and we step by step establish trust and within the cultural layer of the transformation step by step. And maybe Relying on this growing trust, now it could be the perfect moment to enhance the tool-driven change for us. Unfortunately, we did not start to invent and develop something like Magna 3 years ago, and now it's way too late to develop that ourselves. But what we are doing right now is we're implementing and bringing a new Gen AI platform to the newsroom. It's called Langdog. Other media companies in Germany do that as well, Spiegel and Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. Ole Reismann knows about it, of course. And we use this platform to give people the opportunity in a safe environment to experiment with Gen AI. They, of course, can chat with several models. They can create prompts, they can share the prompts, they can create assistants, and they can share these assistants from team to team and within the newsroom. And I think this bottom-up approach for us is in many ways very interesting and very useful. And one of them is we can see what kind of use cases and what kind of assistants are used a lot. And if an assistant maybe is used 2,000 times during 2 weeks, then we look at the degree of utilization, and then we think about implementing this tool, this feature, this assistant into our core CMS system. But focusing on this bottom-up approach, I think, helps a lot not to waste any resources. And the resources, we all know that, are rare. And last but not least, the last layer, I try to project it on Gen AI as well. It's the audience focus. I think we have not answered this question so far. How does Gen AI change the perception of journalism in general? But building dedicated audience-focused tools helped our transformation, our internal transformation as well. Let me explain how. Before the European elections last year and before the national elections in Germany this year, we built an AI-powered assistant, kind of a chatbot with some special features. It helped users to navigate party platforms, compare positions, and explore policies. And for our internal transformation, very important, it gave us something equally valuable, insights into what our audience really needs, really cares about, what questions they have, and connecting the dots to Ezra and the point he made yesterday about the flywheel and the 4 dimensions of the Gen AI loop. This is something we experience as well, because this data from this chatbot flowed back to our newsroom, and they integrated it into their daily planning conferences. So we created this feedback loop to our editors, to our journalists, and they really gained useful insights and got used to these AI features and got used to using these AI tools in a good way. So, yes, AI touches every layer of our transformation, strategy, culture, tooling, audience, but it also builds upon everything we've already done. It's a rupture, of course, but if you want to be positive, and I tend to be, it's a continuation of transformations we have already been through, and maybe we are kind of prepared for it if we think about it the right way. So, it seems to be a trend to close with questions instead of takeaways, so I leave you and maybe kick off the discussion with these 3. As digital transformation and AI transformation still overlap each other, is that for your organization, for your newsroom, is that a risk or an opportunity? Is your change muscle strong enough, or is it already exhausted? Does your organization, does your newsrooms maybe need a break? And we already heard about time is pressing, of course. And the biggest one, how will Gen AI reshape the identity of your organization? And of course, there are many, many definitions of identity, and I, focusing on organization, maybe use this one. Identity defined as the sum of all single workflows. And every single workflow maybe is influenced by Gen AI. More and more workflows, more and more clicks, more and more steps are influenced by Gen AI. What does that mean for the identity of your whole organization? Thank you so much, and I'm happy to take questions and doubts.